Hey,
how are you?
How's it going?
We're dishing about Colin Farrell because I saw him downstairs on my way up here. These are things that happen when you're shooting in this hotel. It's
That's
kind
amazing.
of a strange thing.
Love that.
Yes, I'm gonna hit you with a zinger.
All right.
Matthew McConaughey and Magic Mike. There was a tweet. You're like, it's in your queue as a drama, and you said you refused to accept that Magic Mike is a drama.
I did. Do you know what though? I've never seen it, so it could be terribly dramatic. Is it though?
Well, this is the joke that I've prepared. I think it's more like sci-fi. It's more like the 100 because it's a fantasy. Guys like that don't exist at strip clubs because
That's a good point.
truly, you're not going to see like Matthew McConaughey and like Channing
Probably
Tatum.
not.
And
No, it's too good to be true. It really is.
So what is in your queue? What's in your queue? Like what? I know you don't have time to watch a lot of TV these days because you're
Oh
on
my
a show.
God, but Netflix has changed my life. Like
Has
it
it?
actually has. I am a little bit obsessed because we don't have it in Australia. We don't have anything like it really, like that streaming system. It's fantastic because I get to watch shows that I miss on TV and like on my laptop at all hours. It's fantastic.
I've actually been watching it. I feel like it's being almost like a little bit in a time warp there.
Really?
Yes, because the cars are kind of more old-fashioned, and I feel like people are friendlier. They're not as disconnected as maybe they are here. Because I know this is your the 100 was your first big American series. So sort of this switch, like coming over, what has sort of like been the biggest difference or biggest?
There are
Other than Netflix.
There are a few other than Netflix, which is a big one.
I understand.
How exciting's my life?
I'm a homebody. I'm the same. I understand.
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of differences I found on set, actually, like a lot of different terminology. Everything is just on a much larger scale, you know, like in Australia it's just a lot smaller and kind of
It's a smaller
quaint.
crew. The craft
Smaller
services
crew.
isn't quite as
We don't
involved.
have craft service.
What?
We don't have.
Really?
It's just like a little table with like tea and biscuits.
That's very Aussie, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So I know somebody's asked you before if you could describe her in one word, and you sort of said badass. And I know this season on the show, there's going to be a lot more physicality to what's going on.
Yeah, just gotta stretch these guys.
Were you prepared?
Not really. I wasn't.
Because I think you've said in real life, like if you were actually dropped in that situation, you'd be the least likely person to
I'd
sort
be
of.
shocking.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be great for me. I'd probably die in the first episode. But luckily I play Clark.
Please don't hurt me.
You want to live? Do exactly what I said. I don't think so.
And she is a badass. And this season is a lot more physical. There's a lot of fighting and shooting guns and running and jumping and hiding and all that sort of thing.
In
So
Canada, because you shoot in Vancouver, right? How much fun is that running around in?
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really, the forests there look prehistoric. They look completely untouched, which is really great for us because it totally puts us in like in the spirit of the show, and you're instantly in character when you get out
Does that
there.
make a difference, costuming in that?
It does.
It does.
It makes a huge difference. The weird thing about season 2 is though that I've had all that taken away from me. Right. So in the first episode, I wake up in Mount Weather, and I'm clean. Weird.
I was going to ask you in real life if you had to be put into either a white room, locked in a white room for a month, or in the wilderness for a month. Like you were in season, which would you?
Absolutely the wilderness.
I thought you were going to say I would be in a white room.
You would?
I wouldn't want to deal with the elements. I just put me in the white room, put food under the door, give me some Netflix, and I'll be totally fine. It's kind of like my life anyway.
Well, yeah, that's a good point.
So you would do the wilderness.
Yeah, I think so. Fresh air, trees.
What about the wild animals and the?
Yeah, okay, that's not so great.
But you've sort of had a little bit of training on the show.
I have, yeah. I feel a lot more outdoorsy than I once was. I could maybe camp now, potentially. We'll see. I mean, that might be. Maybe I'll glamp. I just heard about glamping. This is exciting. It's
I know, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's where you luxury camp.
Right. So another term that you just learned, shipping?
Shipping.
Yes. So Bellamy and Clark, tell me the name. Bellamy and Clark are Balark. And this is Bob, and do you feel, because people have sort of shipped you on the show because you two have so much on-screen chemistry, is that something you feel when you're shooting it, or is it something you sort of watch back and
I think, me and Bob are both from the same town. We have had very similar sort of careers up until this point, and this was our first big American, thing. So we do get along really well. He's one of my best friends on the show, and I adore him. So there's definitely chemistry there that plays out, and I think that that it does work for us and our characters.
But do you have any celebrity crushes that?
Ooh, that's a good question. Oddly enough, I do find Channing Tatum ridiculously attractive. So that was just me taking out my frustrations on Twitter, I guess.
I do know, not well, but I do know.
Really?
Yeah. So this season, I know people have sort of said that it's going to be a big shakeup from last season, and I know you tweeted something about like mid-season, get the tissues out.
Oh yeah.
There's going to be a big shift. So what can you tease for this season?
It's going to be a roller coaster ride. I mean, last season was as well. We are very good at twists and turns, and it certainly got a lot darker throughout last season. But if you didn't think it was possible to get any darker, it does. It's
already dark for the CW. It's a very dark show.
It is. That's what I love about it. Yeah. It kind of sets itself apart from some other shows, and it is quite gritty and raw. We do show a lot of blood and killings and all sorts of things. So there's a lot more of that, but it's also a lot of the characters are really evolving and changing, and it's so fun for us.
What do they use for fake blood? You're used to being
I don't
doused
know what's in it,
point.
but it is sticky and gross. It's so hard to get off as well.
Is it?
They have like, our makeup artists have like a box full of a million different types of blood just sitting there all the time because they're using it so much. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh. Did I hear something about you went into a 7-Eleven or something and you thought you were covered in it? You just sort of forget, I guess. You're covered in it all the time, and then you leave and you're like, whatever.
Well, yeah, sometimes you're so tired at the end of the day that you are like covered in. I had to do a scene where I was taking a knife out of someone and performing surgery on them. So my hands and top were covered in blood, and I just went to the 7-Eleven to get like a soda. And I walk in, and then I went to pay, and the guy was like, and I was like, oh, no, it's fine. But I looked like I'd killed someone. It was
and you'd
so
go to a 7-Eleven
and it looked so
like,
real.
Yeah, because that's where, I don't know, I just feel like you hear about these stories on the news, and it's like, in a 7-Eleven, this random girl walks in, and...
If you've seen this girl, call Crime Stoppers. Yeah.
Well, it was great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming in.
No worries.
Congratulations on the show.
Thank you.